Welcome to Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El Rom.
And I'm Erin Viner.
In our top story, the United States has announced that it is withdrawing from the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. A State Department spokesperson cited the UN agency's anti-Israel agenda and said the move reflects U.S. concerns with a variety of UNESCO decisions and the need for fundamental reform of the organization. UNESCO has a shameful track record of showing an unabashed bias against the Jewish state, including passing resolutions which deny the Jewish connection to the holy sites in Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised Washington's decision and instructed the Israeli Foreign Ministry to prepare Israel's withdrawal from the UNESCO to coincide with that of the United States. The White House also announced that it will reevaluate its participation in all United Nations organizations. Ambassador Nikki Haley said U.S. taxpayers should no longer be on the hook to pay for the policies that are hostile to American values and make a mockery of justice and common sense.
The President of the United States has refused to certify Iran's adherence to the nuclear agreement, calling it one of the worst and one-sided transactions the United States has ever entered into. The President warned that he is strongly considering the total termination of the deal. Congress now has 60 days to decide to impose sanctions against the rogue Islamic Republic, which constantly calls for the death of America and Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised President Trump's decision to decertify the agreement, saying that this will give the world powers the opportunity to fix the disastrous deal, to roll back Iran's aggression, and to confront its criminal support of terrorism.
Israel has announced the formation of an organized defense against the onslaught of attacks against the Jewish state in the international community. Jerusalem Heritage Minister Ze'ev Elkin said that attacks leveled against Israel have reached unprecedented levels, and his office is prepared to lead a project to defend Jerusalem from historical distortions. Addressing the government press office's first ever Christian Media Summit, Elkin explained that the attacks against Jerusalem are not only directed at the city's Jewish roots, but also at the fundamental beliefs of the Christian faith. Elkin said he plans to launch a series of international conferences to strengthen Jerusalem's global standing. He stressed that his office will establish a Defender of Jerusalem Prize dedicated to recognizing individuals who contribute in unique ways to the battle for Jerusalem's international standing and against the warping of history.
Israel's Ministry of Finance has been instructed to freeze 500,000 shekels of funds earmarked for the PA to ensure that Arab victims of the Palestinian Authority are properly compensated. We've reported extensively on the arrest and torture of Arabs who wish to live in peace with the Jewish people. They are labeled as collaborators and ruthlessly tortured by the Palestinian Authority. 4 months ago, a Jerusalem court ruled that the Abbas government must pay 500,000 shekels to 50 Arabs that the PA arrested and brutally abused. When it refused to compensate the victims, the ministry was presented with a foreclosure order for the PA funds. The Israeli law firm which represented the Arab victims praised the decision and released a statement saying that it is the State of Israel's deep commitment to assist those who have paid with their well-being and sometimes with their lives in order to save its sons and daughters from terrorism, death, and bereavement.
Israeli residents of southern Israel were once again forced to scramble for bomb shelters when several rockets were fired from the Sinai last week. This follows mortar fire from Gaza just days before. And in a related story, a kindergarten in the southern city of Ashdod was evacuated when an unexploded mortar shell was discovered nearby. Israeli sappers were able to disarm and remove the device. There were no injuries.
The Hezbollah terror organization continues to threaten Israel. Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah recently warned that Jews should go back to where they came from before his group starts another war with Israel. Hezbollah fighters, armed and trained by Iran, have been reportedly gearing up for another conflict with the Jewish state. The terror group has deployed forces into Syria. Israel is concerned that Iran could launch a war with Israel from southern Syria and Lebanon simultaneously.
Israel's national judo team has been instructed not to wear the country's flag or letters in an upcoming Olympic qualifying competition in the United Arab Emirates. Organizers of the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam informed the 12 Israeli judokas that they will be permitted to participate but will not be allowed to wear their country's uniform And if they win, Israel's national anthem, Hatikva, will not be played. Israel's Culture and Sports Minister Miri Regev objected to the Arab country's unfair ultimatum, saying the demand to appear without symbols is contrary to the mandate of international sports associations, the main aim of which is to separate politics from sports. She sent a letter to the president of the Olympic Committee saying it is the obligation of any country which has the privilege of hosting an international competition to allow the competing athletes to represent their country honorably while ensuring their safety.
Members of the government of Guatemala and the Israel Allies Foundation have announced the formation of a pro-Israel caucus in the Guatemalan government. Congressman Juan Manuel Diaz-Duran, who was in Jerusalem recently for the Feast of Tabernacles and the IAF Chairman's Conference, announced that he will chair the caucus. Diaz-Duran said that he is working on a number of projects to strengthen the relationship between the two countries. He said that the government is currently forming a law that will make May 14th the official day of friendship between Israel and Guatemala. This marks the 37th Israel Allies Caucus formed in an international government. IAF President Josh Reinstein said, "Through faith-based diplomacy and our network of Israel Allies caucuses, we will develop a new, vibrant, and unified wave of political support for the State of Israel, unlike anything that we have ever experienced from Latin America."
The International Christian Embassy Jerusalem honored Rabbi Benny Alon, who passed away earlier this year. Rabbi Alon was a pioneer in forging relationships between Christian Zionist and Israeli leaders. Mrs. Imuna Alon was presented with the Lifetime Achievement Award on behalf of her late husband, who chaired the Knesset Christian Allies Caucus and later founded the Israel Allies Foundation, which now has dozens of sister caucuses in governments around the world. Dr. Jürgen Buehler, president of the International Christian Embassy Jerusalem, said Benny will always be remembered by the pro-Israel Christian community worldwide as one of our truest and dearest friends. It's only proper that we honor and recognize his great work and legacy.
That concludes the news portion of our show. Stay tuned for Ask the Source with Josh Reinstein.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Source. I'm your host Josh Reinstein, and we're here on a beautiful day in Jerusalem on our rooftop studio. My guest today is Yossi Klar. He is the co-founder of the Israeli Cartoon Project. Yossi, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Yossi, tell our viewers a little bit about what is the Israeli Cartoon Project.
So the Israeli Cartoon Project is a project that came up here in Israel with a few leading artists here in Israel, right wing and left wing. Leading them was Uri Fink and Shai Charka, who wanted to create some Hasbara material for people around the world who want to explain the complexity of the situation here in Israel and how things are not as simple as they might look in the media. And what we do is we create cartoons to explain very complicated things in a very simple way.
Your cartoons are being sent all over the world. You say Hasbara, which is public diplomacy, but you take it from a different angle, kind of a comedy angle. Why is that important in your work?
So what we feel is that there are a lot of organizations working on doing public diplomacy for Israel, and no one is dealing with one of the strong suits of Jews and Israelis, which is humor. And it's very easy, if someone hates you and you make him laugh, he's not going to hate you that much. And we feel like if we're going to get to that point where we make the person who's on the other side and he's anti-Semitic, or maybe he's just doesn't like Jews or Israelis, and we make him laugh, that might change how he sees Israel, and this might help us show him that things are more complicated than the way he thinks they are.
There's a saying that it would be funny if it wasn't so true, and a lot of these issues that you're taking on are very tough issues, very deep emotional issues, yet you are able to take a humor aspect from it. How are you able to, thread the needle on being from funny to obscene, basically, when it comes to such tough issues?
So we feel like sometimes most of these issues, the level of dialogue between both sides, the Israelis and pro-Israelis and the Palestinians and the Jew haters and anti-Semites, not very, very high at the beginning. And when you look at it and you find the point where it becomes absurd, like if you're a Christian and you say that Palestine belongs to the Palestinians and the Arabs, well, you didn't read the Bible. And that point, when you just show it in a cartoon, it becomes easier to explain, and it takes a very serious issue and it just brings it into a humoristic level.
Some of these issues that we see, like UNESCO saying that the Temple Mount has no connection to the Bible or Judaism or Hebron, are so ridiculous. When you show them in this comedy light, have you seen any instances where people are a little embarrassed even that that's their position, or if there's been some reaction from the other side?
Yeah, so usually the reaction we get from the other side is a lot of hate. But sometimes you do see people who say, well, there's a point to that, I'm gonna think about it again. They don't say directly, well, you're right, I'm just gonna give up my ideas, but they do say, we get messages of people saying, well, thanks for that. That showed us Israel in a different light, or issues in a different light.
Now, how can people get this information? You know, you have a website, obviously, but I understand that some of these cartoons were in different demonstrations and organized. Like, how do you distribute this information?
So our goal is to become a supplier of public diplomacy. We don't want our page to become the biggest page. We don't want our organization to become the biggest. We want the people who are in the front line, the people, you, the viewers, to be able to share these cartoons and to be able to make use of them while you're arguing with someone or trying to make a point with someone. So we send our cartoons to, we publish them on our social media pages like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, our website, and also we send them to other organizations who do public diplomacy for Israel or Hasbara, for them to be able to share them.
What about the government of Israel? Have they taken notice of this? Is this something that they use as marketing tools to basically take a complex issue and make it very simple?
So actually we do have a working relationship with the government. We supply them with cartoons. They give us something that we're dealing with. We go to our artists, we explain the issue. They come back with their ideas, with their cartoons, and then the government publishes them, we publish them.
That's a great issue that you just mentioned. How do you decide what is the issue that you want to satire? Is it just like the news of the day, or are they specific parameters for you picking something that you want to draw about?
Okay, so actually we also do the news of the day. We also tackle major issues like BDS, but for an example, we had Roger Waters very angry with Radiohead coming to perform here in Israel. We made sure to create a few cartoons together with the government that deal with it. You can see it right now on the screen.
You know, something that we've seen happen is a reaction from Jewish communities and Christian communities where they want to take these cartoons and send it to their friends to try to make their point. Is that something that you'll see more of this in the future as things move on? Yeah, so actually this is one of our goals, is to have people in the front line, which actually the front line of Israeli public diplomacy is in the viewers' towns and neighborhoods. It's not here in Israel. So we want the viewers to take, and we want people to take those cartoons and share them and spread them over. We had a Jewish group in South Africa take those cartoons and create an entire exhibition of them in an event, and we want these things to happen more and more. Yes, there are literally tens of millions of people watching this show. What message do you have for our viewing audience?
So my message to our viewing audience would be engaged, take part in this community that's growing and taking part in Israeli public diplomacy. You don't need to have much, you don't need to do much, you just need to like our page, you need to share these cartoons, you need to be involved, you need to send them over to your friends, to people who are haters of Israel, and just show them the absurd of their hatred.
Thank you, Yossi, for being on the show, and thank you for tuning in to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein. Now back to the studio.
Up next, the return to Zion with Keren Hayesod.
Shalom and welcome to the Return to Zion with Keren Hayesod. I'm Eliezer Moody Sandberg, World Chairman of Keren Hayesod, the leading official fundraising organization for the State of Israel. After World War II, an extraordinary effort was launched with the funds raised by Keren Hayesod donors to bring home the survivors of the Holocaust, to the land of Israel. This is the story of clandestine immigration of the survivors of the Holocaust to their ancient homeland.
For 2,000 years, the Jewish people, scattered and dispersed throughout the four corners of the globe, never gave up on the improbable dream of returning home to Israel. Jews everywhere prayed to the Lord, "May our eyes see you return to Zion with mercy." The impossible suddenly appeared within reach when the mighty British Empire issued the Balfour Declaration in 1917, recognizing the Jewish people's right to their historic and spiritual homeland. But as the dark clouds gathered over Europe, the door to the land of Israel was not yet open. Under Arab League pressure, the British ruthlessly restricted Jewish immigration. As the world looked on, Keren HaYesod, alongside Jews already in the land of Israel, banded together and took on the challenge. They launched the clandestine naval operation, codenamed Aliyah Bet, to save their brethren from the clutches of Nazi Germany and bring them to Israel, fulfilling Ezekiel's prophecy of bringing dry bones to life. With careful organization and ingenuity, these brave souls defied the British authorities. Makeshift, rickety boats set sail from ports across Europe, transporting a wretched human cargo of men, women, and children desperately seeking refuge. But the might of His Majesty's Navy stood in their way. Time and again, those who had escaped the gas chambers gazed longingly at Israel's coast, the land of freedom in their midst, only to be defied by the British and turned back to Europe. Fruma Galant was just such a little girl when she traveled to Israel on the SS Exodus during the Ha'apala. Upon its arrival to the port of Haifa, the ship was deported back to Europe, thus making it a symbol of the many hardships Jews had to face during the time of Aliyah, immigrating to their historical homeland.
ראינו את אוניות הבריטים, המשחטות שלהם, מסביב כמו דגי טרף כל הזמן. כמו שאנחנו נסענו, הם נסעו. ואז הגיע היום, ראינו שהאוניות מתחילות להתקרב אלינו, וגם ראינו את חיפה, את האורות כבר. וכולם התחילו לשמוח מאוד שרואים אורות, אבל אני מבינה שהיו אנשים שהבינו מתחיל קרב וזה. הם התחילו לשחק כדורגל, האנגלים עם האונייה. אחד נתן דחיפה ימינה, השני שמאלה, והאונייה התחילה להתפרק כמו לגו. בחיפה הורידו את האנשים, עשו עליהם פליט עם כל הכעס שהיה להם, והעבירו אותנו לאוניות, ל3 אוניות. זו הייתה אוניית אסירים. הם זרקו את כל התרמילים, אנשים נשארו כמו שעלו, בלי בגדים, בלי שום כלום.
Undeterred, the overcrowded, unseaworthy vessels of Aliyah Bet continued to challenge the blockade. Young Jewish fighters, aided by their non-Jewish sailors, succeeded in bringing more than 70,000 Jews home to the land of their forefathers in more than 100 vessels.
We came to the port of Haifa on the boat called Argentina. One of the boats of Agana who've been caught maybe an hour or half an hour earlier, and they were singing all of a sudden Hatikva. And we also started to sing Hatikva. It was a very emotional something that one does never forget.
Those who made it ashore were swiftly smuggled into the future Jewish state by daring activists from Keren HaYesod and elsewhere. Evading capture, the new arrivals were taken to kibbutzim and other new communities to live as free Jews in their own land, fulfilling the dreams of countless generations before them. And in doing so, they brought to life Zechariah's prophecy, "Not by might and not by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord."
זה המקום היחיד שאתה יודע שאתה בארץ שלך, על הקרקע שלך, כמו כל עם נורמלי אחר.
To this day, Keren Hayesod is helping Jews around the world come home with the help of Jews and non-Jews alike.
Let's bless Israel together.
Now's the time for you to get involved. Assist Keren Hayesod to raise the necessary funds in order to bring Jews yearning for their homeland back to Israel. Your donation can help fulfill the biblical prophecy today. To donate and get information, call us at 1-800-505-1665 or visit our website at www.khisrael.org.
Iran is a threat to the entire world, but today I want to focus on Iran's war against Christians. As you all know, Christians are brutally persecuted in the Islamic Republic. Pastors are jailed for no reason other than for being Christian leaders. Christians have been lashed. You hear this? Christians have been lashed for sipping wine during prayer services. Christians have been brutally tortured for doing nothing more than practicing their faith. Now, some world leaders are willing to ignore this repression and seek to appease Iran, but I am not one of them. I think that how a country treats religious minorities is a very good indicator of how it will treat its other citizens and its neighbors. So today I have a simple request for the media outlets in this room. Dedicate this week to highlighting the plight of the countless Christians suffering under Iran. Profile the brave Christian leaders jailed for practicing their faith. Sit with the families of the school teachers jailed for years merely for converting to Christianity. Call out the lie and the lies of President Rouhani, who promised in 2013 that all religions would, quote, feel justice in Iran, while so many Christians live there in constant terror.
Please stay tuned for the ICEJ report from the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem.
גדלתי בבית עם 7 אחים ואחיות. אני לא זוכרת שהיה לנו כל כך כסף, אבל אני כן זוכרת שהיינו יחד תמיד, כמשפחה. כשהייתי בת 5 הכל השתנה. המשפחה שלי נקראה, ההורים שלי התגרשו, שניהם התחתנו מחדש והקימו משפחות אחרות. לא היה מקום לי או לאחים שלי. ההורים שלי זנחו אותנו. האחים שלי פוזרו במשפחות אומנה, גם אני הייתי בהתחלה במשפחה אומנה, ואחר כך העבירו אותי לפנימיה. טיפלו בי יפה, אבל הם לא הכינו אותי לעתיד. איך להיות בוגרת. ברגע שהגעתי לגיל 18, עזבתי את הפנימיה ללא כסף, ללא אוכל, לא עבודה, מבלי בכלל להבין איך העולם פועל. מהר מאוד הגעתי לרחובות. אני זוכרת, לפעמים היה לי רק חצי סנדוויץ' לאכול במהלך היום. הייתי בתת תזונה וגם רעבה. לפעמים ישנתי על ספסלים, לפעמים ישנתי במקלט ומדרגות של בניינים. לפעמים כל הערב הייתי הולכת ומבלה ככה את הלילה, מפחדת לישון שינה עמוקה כי פשוט פחדתי שמשהו עלול לקרות לי. עברו כבר כמה שנים שלא ראיתי את אמא. החלטתי לעשות לה שיחת גובניה. אמרתי לה, אמא, מה קורה? אני ברחוב ואין לי לאן ללכת. אין לי אוכל, אני ממש מפחדת. אני יכולה לבוא לבית שלך וכל מה שאני זוכרת זה שהיא פשוט נתקעה את הקו. נתקע. אפילו בתוך הקשיים האלה, אני די קיוויתי שאמא שלי תתקשר בחזרה, אולי תשנה את הדעה שלה, שהיא תראה אותי, שמשהו יגיע אליה. בסופו של דבר הגעתי לבית חולים כי הייתי חלשה מזה שלא אכלתי. כשהייתי שם, אחות נתנה לי מספר טלפון של עובדת סוציאלית בשם איריס. התקשרתי אליה. אספה אותי. בדירה של הבנות לא היה מקום. אז את יודעת מה היא עשתה? פשוט לקחה אותי לבית שלה. ילדה זרה שאפילו לא הכירה. החיים החדשים שלי התחילו באותו הרגע. היא התחילה להדריך אותי ביחס לחיים, דבר אחרי דבר, איך להסתדר בעולם, איך לנהל חשבון בנק, תזונה, איך לבשל, איך לעבוד, באיזה דברים אני טובה, הכל. איריס פשוט הפכה להיות כמו אמא בשבילי, הצילה את החיים שלי. היום אני אוהבת לעבוד עם ילדים. אני מרגישה שכשאני עובדת עם ילדים, אני עושה משהו חשוב. זה גם מרפא אותי. יום אחד הייתי רוצה לפתוח עמותה משלי, שתעזור לילדים אחרים, שנמצאים באותם המצבים בהם אני הייתי. המלגה שקיבלתי מהשגרירות הנוצרית, ומזה שהבנתי שאנשים מסביב לעולם מאמינים ותומכים בי, אני יודעת שאשיג את החלום שלי. כי התקווה והאמונה שנשארה בי במהלך הילדות שלי ובזמן בוגרתי ברחובות, עדיין קיימת בי היום.
That's all for this edition of Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El-Rom.
And I'm Erin Viner reporting from our studio in Jerusalem. Please join us again next week for all of your Israel updates.